Hey guys, I'm in my living room here at Grassroots and it's wine o'clock. We survived the severe weather and I'll take you guys out there and show you how everything looks. Let's go. There's a train, it's gonna be loud. Chevelle, stay. Stay. It's kind of windy and it got really cold. Not really cold. That's a relative term. It got cold compared to this morning. But I moved all of the little seedlings that aren't ready to be transplanted yet. I moved them up here onto the porch. Everything looks fine. We've got some tomatoes and peppers popping up, just little baby ones, so I'm excited to see those grow. And then down here, none of these have sprouted yet. That's my Black Beauty eggplant, my cucamelons, and my Thai holy basil. So none of those have sprouted yet. But I moved them out here to get some sun, and we had some rain and they needed to be watered. So they got what they needed. Everything survived. We didn't have anything really bad. Everything went around us. But I wanted to show you in here some of those radishes that I direct sowed are starting to come up. I didn't label these, but I've got 4 different varieties. I don't know if you could see that. And then, yeah, there's some little radishes in here too. Let's look at them this way. Can you see those guys? So they've all sprouted up. Now this is the time of year, can you see that? When we play volunteer or weed. But I have these everywhere. So I'm gonna say it's a weed. We'll get rid of that. Here's my little transplants. They're fine. There's the kale, the cabbage, the broccoli. These radishes are looking pretty good. And then back in that bed back there that I don't have anything planted in, I came out here this morning. That cat had been out here. And I came out here to weed and I started pulling all kinds of weeds out of that bed, and I found so many little cat turds that I had to dig out and throw over on the side yard. So I came out here real quick before it started storming and I just threw some chicken wire over it because it's becoming a habit and I don't like it. So let's go check out some peas. Here's my snap peas. They're getting big. Back there are the little marvel peas. And then there are some little cilantros starting to pop up. So this cold weather stuff is happy. With this cool front that just came in. Oh, nothing's going on in the carrot bed, but that got scratched up pretty good by that cat, so I don't really expect a lot out of that. And then the little lavender. It's looking pretty good. Those are the lavender I planted last year that are just now popping up. And then in here, there's some Parisian market carrots. They're back here. So they're just coming up. Happy birthday, little carrots. And then here's the kiddie pool bed. Everything's fine. I've been putting this spare piece of lattice work over top of it to keep the cat out, but It got sunny after the storm, so I decided to lift that up and let it get some sunshine. And then here's the Japanese wasabi radishes. They're getting pretty tall. So maybe this will be my year for radishes, guys. And then in here, got some other little radishes starting to pop up. Those were planted a little bit later than the wasabi radishes. And then there's the pollinator patch, flower bed, bird feeder, bath thingy. And then down here is my artichoke, dill, some winter sun cilantro, and some tomatoes and delphinium. This looks different, so I think a rogue seed got in there. I'm just gonna let it grow and see what we get. So everything's good out here. Nothing too dramatic happened. So let's go back inside where it's warm and talk about. Chevelle says hello. She's mad about something. Let's see. Sit you guys down. All right, so I actually wanted to talk to you guys. I wanted to give you an update because last you heard from me, we were expecting severe weather. So I wanted to get you updated on that. It's all good. Everything seemed to go like right around us. So we got really lucky here in my part of Oklahoma. It was stressful. So I really wanted to talk to you guys today about the single seed challenge. The single seed challenge is it started a few years ago when when COVID hit and everybody started trying to make the food supply more sustainable for themselves, but maybe had not had a lot of experience in gardening, or maybe it was just a hobby. Our life didn't depend on it, but I believe it was started just as a way to build community between gardeners. And I'm late to the party on this. I've been gardening where I lived before I got this house. I did not have internet, so during the whole lockdown, I had an antenna TV. I got like 3 channels. That was it. It was a pretty rural area. They didn't have internet out there yet, so it was rough. So I didn't know anything about this, but I've been hearing about it more and more. And really the reason for it is to build community between other gardeners, whether they're brand new gardeners, experienced gardeners, the whole hive mindset of just helping each other out. And also it's a step, it's just one seed. So it's just a way to grow something or to grow something new. So if you're brand new to gardening and you're just searching on YouTube for how to start a vegetable garden, how to grow tomatoes, whatever it is you're trying to learn how to do, it can be very overwhelming. It's overwhelming for me. I have been gardening for a few years, but not on this scale. I've never done it. I've done it as a hobby. I haven't done it as with a goal to be more self-sustainable like I am now. And so it can be overwhelming. It can seem like there's so much information. And so what the single seed challenge means to me is just take the first step. Put a seed in dirt. see what happens. And post about it. Hashtag Single Seed Challenge 2022. And so we can all encourage each other. We can all go on social media, go on YouTube, search hashtag Single Seed Challenge 2022 and look at what other people are doing. And we can start to build this community that I don't know everything about gardening. You don't know everything about gardening. You probably know a lot of the stuff I'm talking about. You're probably watching this and going, I know all that. But you keep watching because there's one thing that you might learn that you could say, oh, I've made that mistake. Oh, okay. And so it's just a way of encouraging each other, sharing knowledge and wisdom, because a lot of gardening is patience, knowledge, and wisdom. And a lot of it is you learn by doing. We are so very fortunate to live in this time in 2022 that we have this way of connecting with each other without even having to have ever crossed paths in real life. But we can still learn from each other. So that's what the challenge is all about. And the best time to get started with this challenge is right now. Right now, today. Today is April 13th. The average last frost date for me here in Zone 7B was yesterday. So it's time, guys. It's time. But, okay, I'm watching this video and I want to start tomorrow. I'm just seeing this today and I'm learning about it and I want to take part. When is the best time for me to start? Tomorrow? Start next week. Start in July. Start whenever you're ready. There's no, as long as it's in 2022, start it on New Year's Eve 2022. Hashtag it and keep us posted. We'll watch your seed grow all winter. But right now is a great time. I know you're all going grocery shopping. I know that the stores are cramming gardening things down your throat from the minute you walk in till the minute you walk out. You walk in Walmart, there's racks on either side of that door with hanging baskets of petunias. I betcha. I don't know, I haven't been to Walmart since like before Christmas. Since I quit working there. But I've worked there long enough and I've shopped there long enough to know. And it doesn't have to be Walmart. The Dollar General has a whole seasonal aisle with the Easter eggs. Right next to the Easter eggs and the Easter baskets, there are seeds, there are soil, there are seed starting mix and trays, and gardening is being crammed down our throat. And it's very overwhelming to walk in and go, oh, I really want a garden, but there's so much stuff. What do I get? And then, you know, if you've got kids with you, they're all over the place. And so it's overwhelming. So just start with one seed. Next time you go pick up groceries, grab a seed pack. Let the kids pick out a seed pack. And I mean, anybody can take place in this. Children from, you know, birth to your great-grandparents or whoever. My dogs love sugar snap peas fresh from the garden. So I could do a single seed challenge for each of these dogs. So let the kids pick out whatever they want. What kind of vegetables do they like to eat? This is a good way to get kids, one, involved in gardening. Two, it'd be a great project for them over the summer. You know, school's about to be out at the start of gardening season. How cool would it be to let each of the kids pick out a vegetable or a flower or something that they would like to grow, an herb, whatever they're interested in. I would pick, you know, I would let them pick, but I would guarantee you they're probably going to pick something that they like to eat, like corn. Or I, as a kid, loved green beans. My siblings, not so much, but I could eat my weight in green beans. So I would have probably picked out green beans. Pumpkins. Those are a good one. So let the kids pick out a seed pack. And even if you don't have a garden, even if you live in an apartment, you can do this anywhere. You have windows, you have a windowsill, I'm sure, that you can set a solo cup in the windowsill and let it grow in there. If you live in an apartment, you have a door that goes out probably to a little sidewalk, similar to my front concrete apron. I have lived in many apartments in my life and seen many of my neighbors have out just pots with flowers or growing whatever. You can have a pot outside of your door at your apartment complex. Most apartments that I've lived in have either a little patio or a little balcony. You can put a little pot out there and grow a little garden, a little container garden. So you can do this anywhere, no matter where you live, or you can live in the middle of nowhere on 100 acres and still do this. You can do it in the ground if you want to. I wouldn't recommend just putting it in the lawn because you'll probably mow over it when it's time to mow and you're on your riding lawnmower not thinking about my kid planted a sunflower, over here. So you might want to find some way to mark it or put a little edge around it or a T-post so it can't get run over by the lawnmower. You can do this anywhere, guys, anywhere. Windowsill to 100 acres, no matter what. You can grow one seed. So I want to encourage you to learn something new, whether you've been gardening your whole life or you're just thinking about getting into gardening maybe as a hobby after work, or maybe you're thinking about a fun summer project for the kids or something fun to do with your dogs. So you might be thinking, I don't have a lot of money to invest in this gardening stuff. That's just not in my budget. Inflation is at 8.5% today. I saw on the news. We've got a bird flu going on. We've got egg shortages. We've got supply chain issues. Gas is through the roof. There's a lot going on. All the more reason to invest a little bit into learning how to grow your own food. Develop the skills that it takes. You never know when you might need this skill. You never know when your kids might need these skills. And you're building memories. So as far as dollar amount, this can be as cheap or as expensive as your budget allows. This seed packet says $1.96. I know for sure I picked up these seeds last fall at the end of the summer, before the seeds went away for the fall, before they clean out all the gardening things to make room for the Christmas trees, because at Walmart Christmas starts in September. So probably last September I picked these up with food stamps, to be quite honest with you. So these were free. They were definitely marked down at least 50% off. But right now Dollar General has 4 for $1 seeds. So you can pick up a pack of seeds for $0.25. If you've got 4 kids, here kids, here's $1. Each of you pick out one seed pack of what you want to grow for your single seed challenge. So seeds, you can also get them from other gardeners. We all save seeds. Well, I wouldn't say we all. Newer gardeners maybe don't know how to save seeds, but you can ask around. People will give you free seeds. Seed swaps are great. Say you do single seed challenge. Get together with a group of other moms and pick out 4 seeds. Okay, well in this seed pack there's probably, these are pumpkin seeds, so they're pretty big. There's 5. So there's 5 seeds in here. So 1 seed, now you've got 4 more seeds. So you can trade with someone else. Hey, I've got 4 pumpkin seeds. I can trade you for whatever they've picked up, that some green beans or corn or whatever. So you can seed swap. A lot of towns have seed libraries. A lot of libraries have free seeds, so check with your local library. So seeds are like the cheapest thing ever. Nearly free, guys. And then you'll need some soil. I got this bag of soil, whole bag, for $3.50 at the DG. It's 14 quarts. One bag with plenty. So that's the most expensive thing at $3.50. And then you can get a pack of Solo cups. You can get 50 of them for $1. 50 cups for $1. You probably have a pack of them in your pantry. I did. So $0 to $1 is the most you're gonna spend. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna get your red Solo cups, your soil, your seeds, and you're gonna need a way to make a drainage hole in the bottom of your Solo cups. You guys see that hole? I used my drill. I just flipped my Solo cup upside down, put it on the ground, whoop, drainage hole. You can use a hot glue gun. Don't put a glue stick in it, just heat it up and just touch that tip to that plastic, it'll melt you a hole. You can use a soldering iron. If you have a soldering iron laying around, same concept as the glue gun, but I've never owned a soldering iron in my nearly 50 years of life, so I've owned several glue guns. So it's just whatever you got laying around that will puncture a hole in plastic, whether it's a drill, a glue gun, a soldering iron. In the past, I've used a nail and a hammer to hammer a drainage hole in the bottom of a Solo cup. So just something to put a hole in plastic is all you need. You can probably even take a pair of scissors or a steak knife and stab it. I wouldn't recommend that to the kids, and maybe do that under adult supervision. But main thing is you need drainage so that you don't flood out your soil and your plant. So those are your materials: seed pack, Solo cup, soil, something to make a hole in your Solo cup. So step one, make your drainage hole. If you're doing multiple Solo cups, say you've got 6 kids, and so you're doing 6 Solo cups for them, don't sit there and drill 6 holes. Stack your Solo cups upside down in a stack and take your drill and go through all 6 of them at one time. So there's your pro tip on that. And then you're gonna fill your cup with soil, and then you're gonna water it. Just run it under the faucet until you see water coming out the bottom. Pull it out of the faucet, let the water drain out, and then I'd throw it back under that faucet a second time, because sometimes new soil right out of the bag that hasn't been watered is like hydrophobic, and so you'll get a big puddle of water at the top of the cup, but it won't, like, it takes a while to settle in. When it does, it'll settle in like this much, and then all of this is still dry. So let it settle in, and then stick it back under the water until it looks like it's gonna overflow, and shut the water off and take it out, and then let it sit in the sink for a bit to drain. I actually took a second Solo cup and put under this that doesn't have a drainage hole in it, because I just filled this with water before I turned this camera on, so you can see when I took it out. It's still pretty wet, but that's fine. You want your soil to be pretty wet. Woo, that's really wet, but it'll drain out, it'll be fine. You want it pretty wet to start seeds. So after you've got your soil wet, the next thing you're gonna do is open up your seed packet. And you can read your seed packet. There's a lot of information back there. I covered that in a prior video. But for this single seed challenge, we're not really 100% worried about that. This is more of a learning experience. That's why we're only planting 1 seed. Our life doesn't depend on this 1 seed surviving. So if you're an experienced gardener, and you've planted like the same standard things, like year after year after year, your hardy go-tos, I know I'm gonna harvest this year because I've harvested it for 50 years in the past or 5 years in the past, whatever it might be. Pick out a seed packet of something you've never grown before but always wanted to try. Because all you're out is one seed, y'all. You're not gonna put a whole bunch of, you know, a full tray of these. Just pick a seed that you're curious about. I have a very small garden. I've never successfully grown a pumpkin. So I'm like the kids out there. I want to grow a pumpkin. I want to have my own pumpkin for Halloween. So take your one seed out, and even if you don't bother reading the back of the seed packet, it's fine. I know it's very overwhelming. You're gonna plant your seed twice as deep as it is. Chevelle's playing with her big heavy bone. You're gonna plant it 2 times deeper than it is wide. So this is the size of a pumpkin seed. So I'm gonna take this guy and I'm gonna stick it about 1 inch down in my soil, which I have way too wet and it just sunk. Whoops. So I should have let that drain out a little more, but it's okay. It's fine. These are things that might happen when you've never gardened before. I'll keep you guys posted on how it does. So normally you would put it in the soil. Now if it's a little teeny tiny seed like a carrot, you're not gonna wanna push that down in the soil. You're gonna wanna just drop it on top. 2 times deeper than it is wide for something that is like the size of a grain of salt. You can just lay that sucker right on the top and just sprinkle a little water on top. Maybe sprinkle just a teeny bit of soil on top, but surface sow it. Don't put it too deep. But anyway, it's the single seed challenge, so we're just learning. It's a learning experience for all of us. And more importantly, it's a way for us to connect as a community. So the very last step in this tutorial is to place your cup in a sunny location, like a windowsill, and then you're gonna wanna obsessively check on it like every chance you get. Like every 30 minutes, you're gonna peek in on that thing. Did it sprout yet? Did it sprout yet? I'm just kidding, guys. I do check on my seedlings like every morning. I get the dogs out and back in, and I'm still on my first cup of coffee, and I go right out the front door and I check on all the seedlings. Like, did it sprout overnight? And then I get ready for my day. I go to work, I come home, and before I even walk in the front door, I take a walk around the garden, and because I'm lucky that it's in my front yard, so it's, you know, I can't miss it. I gotta walk through it to get inside, so I walk around the garden and check on all my little seedlings. But it's fun, and it's a fun thing for kids, you know, it's something for them to look forward to when they get home from school and they're tired and they're frustrated because they've been told to sit down and shut up all day long. You know what I'm talking about. You pick them up from school and they're like, yeah, bouncing off the walls. So, yeah, when they get home from school and put their backpacks down, hey, go check on your seeds, see if they did anything. They can also check and see if they need water, if they're getting dried out, and stuff like that. So it's a fun thing for kids. It's a fun thing for adults, I'm not gonna lie. I did start a single seed challenge couple videos ago. You saw I actually started a Black Beauty eggplant, and then going back over that, I realized that I didn't really go into depth about what is the single seed challenge. So that's why I decided to make this video for you guys today to explain that in further depth. So your assignment, this is your homework assignment, kids. If you decide that you are taking place in the single seed challenge, and you have until New Year's Eve of 2022 to decide if you want to take place in the single seed challenge for 2022. And if you decide to do so, post post on Facebook, post on Instagram, post on YouTube. If you have a YouTube channel and you're a gardener and you want to connect with other gardeners who have YouTube channels, do the single seed challenge, hashtag it in your videos so that the rest of us can find you and can learn from you. And if you want to keep, up on my progress in my garden and my adorable black labs, subscribe. And I will search hashtag single seed challenge 2022 on YouTube, and I will subscribe and learn from you guys as well. So comment below what you're growing, when you start, keep us updated, and let's follow each other and build a sense of community and help each other learn. It doesn't matter how long you've been gardening. Someone else can learn from you. That's the thing I love about being a hairstylist. I've been a hairstylist for almost 30 years, guys. And I've worked with people older than me, and I've worked with people younger than me, and I've learned something from every one of them, and they've learned from me. There's never one right way to do such a big thing, like a whole career in doing hair, or a whole lifetime of gardening and farming and homesteading. You can always learn from each other. So don't feel like, oh, I've never gardened before, so I don't have anything to contribute to this conversation. Yeah, you do, guys. Yeah, you do. I grew carrots for the first time last fall. Now, I didn't really think about it. I'd never tried to grow carrots before. I never researched growing carrots. Common sense, I knew the seeds were tiny, so they weren't going to go that deep. But I literally dumped carrot seeds in my hand, went out in my raised beds, took my hand and drew lines in the soil, and took my carrot seeds and sprinkled them on those lines, and then just kind of tuck the seeds in with a little bit more soil. And that was it. And I did it like August 15th. It was like 110, 115 degrees here in the late summer in Oklahoma. It's blazing hot. And since then, I've watched a lot of gardening videos about, how to successfully grow carrots. And everybody says, oh, they won't germinate if the temperature is above like 80 or 85 or something like that. I ate some delicious carrots last fall. So just because everybody says it's hard, or everybody says there's all these difficult steps to do it, that doesn't mean that applies to your situation. Maybe they had a hard time growing in their environment, but I'm telling you what, those carrots I grew were the most low maintenance things I have ever planted. They were probably my most successful crop last year. So I guess I just got lucky. I don't know. But anyway, hashtag your single seed challenge 2022, and I will keep you guys updated. I hope you're all staying safe in these storms, and keep us posted on what you're growing in your garden. Until next time, it's always wine o'clock at Grassroots. Bye.